All right, we're going to check out this PSP-25 today, 25 auto. It's made by PSA, Precision Small Arms. So this pistol in reality is just a modern day baby Browning. FN started making the quote baby in 1931. It was known as the baby Browning because it mimicked the early 1900 Browning pistols of the time. In 1984 they contracted with PSA. They were producing them for FN at the time, but they started importing them to the States in the late 80s. And in 1995 and up, instead of calling them the PSP-25 like this one here, they started calling them the PSA-25. It's a 6+1 capacity, single action, striker fired, blowback. Now this is on loan to me today by my buddy Andrew. I really appreciate that. He was also kind enough to supply some ammunition for it. I tried like heck to find some and I could not find any locally, so really glad he was able to provide some ammunition for the review today. Really appreciate that, Andrew. Thank you. Now that said, this is just kind of some various rounds in here. There's even some hollow points, probably different brands of ammunition. They're a little bit older, so not necessarily, hopefully you won't have any issues with reliability or whatnot, but if we do, it's likely because of this mixed lot of old ammunition here that's definitely seen better days. So get shooting here in a second. I just wanted to kind of show you the overall size here, but also this, I was noticing this at the house, that you can't choke up on it too much or you're going to cover the slide moving rearward there on you. It's going to hit your hand and cause feeding issues. So and I got smaller hands, so I'd imagine with dudes with bigger hands that could be a potential issue there. So I don't think it'd be much of an issue for me if I choke up on it real far, which I don't think I would even hold it like that. I mean, that feels about natural to me. It's real close there, but I'm just going to make sure I got kind of a low grip on it there. That way I don't have that slide hitting me there. And if I do notice it hitting me, I'll definitely point it out, especially if it causes a malfunction. So obviously you're just going to have fixed sights on there. Camera's probably not focusing too well, but it's just those fixed sights. I'll see if I can get a focused image on that real quick. Yeah, I'm having difficulty because it's so small and I got to be so close. But you got your little rear notch there, and then the front is just, little blade that sticks up there. So real teeny tiny fixed sights on it, which obviously to be expected, on some little dinky pocket pistol like this. And I did notice the top of the slide, whoopsie, it's got what do you call it, that like little ribs on it there, so it'll keep the sun from glaring off of it, which is rather nice because usually little dinky pocket pistols like that, they don't think of things like that. So I did notice that, and that's pretty cool. It'll keep the sun glare off of it, so you can actually see your sights in well, full sun like we got today there. So I'm gonna get to shooting this thing. I'm gonna start out on target here, see what kind of, not necessarily groups, but just where point of impact is and whatever. Obviously this is a very up close and personal type pistol. Very short ranges is what it's intended for. So I don't know, I'll probably stand back 4 or 5 yards, see where we're hitting on paper, and then I'll step back from there and see if I can still keep it on paper. Do have some steel targets down here. Little 25, there's a couple it might knock over, but for the most part it's not going to have enough energy to knock these over. It usually takes about a 9mm minimum to knock all these over reliably, but see if I can hit some steel with it as well. I'm going to reuse this target for the moment. So we have 3 right there, 3 right there, and looks like 4 up in the head there. So just make note of those real quick before we start firing at it. All right, so you got a little safety here. So this is safe off. For safety, you flip it up, locks the slide. And part of the takedown method, which I'm not going to go over today, you can actually partially lock this slide back like so. You can see the barrel sticking out the end there a little bit. It is empty, by the way, guys. I wouldn't be sticking my hands in front of the barrel if it wasn't. So you should have been able to see the mag release there. It's got this little lever you depress to the rear. It does take a little bit of force. Press it all the way with a good authority there to get the mag to release, and then to get it back in, you got to kind of feed it like that and press it against that to get it to feed up in there. Other than that, no real issue. And by the way, sorry about the dirty hands. I had a piece of rusty something I had to like twist and tear off the Durango. It was dragging on the way here, so I got my hands all nasty already, but we'll clean this up real nice for him before we return it there. But yeah, let's get to shooting this thing. Walk down there and put some rounds down range. All right, I got 6 in the mag. Let's see what I can do. I don't know if it's just the recoil from this little thing, or doesn't look like the sides, well, maybe it looks like there's a little line there, but I'm getting something there. Yep, that was sick. That's not too bad. So there's all 6 shots, nice and centered there. I was just having a center hold there, so at least from that distance with them being up there, and I was doing a center hold here, about a 6 o'clock hold's how you want to aim. So that's actually not too bad, especially for my first shots there. So should be able to step it back a little bit here. Yeah, I don't know if you could see it, and I wouldn't expect anything less from something so dinky like this, but a little red there. I wasn't sure if the slide was right in my hand, but if it was, the thing still cycled 100% reliably. So far no issues, and if it was contacting me, that's impressive that it was still reliably functioning there. I think it's probably just from it twisting in my hand, but it's hard to tell because my hand there is real close to the slide. So but that was 6 in the mag, so let's try 6+1 now. All right, about 4 or 5 yards to this first target here, so it'll be about double the distance to that football behind it. I got her loaded up 6+1, so see if she'll function 6+1 there. And again, don't know if 25 auto has enough power to knock these down, but we'll see. Didn't quite fully feed there. Again, this is old ammunition as well. All right. Yeah, I felt like that case was dragging going in, so it's probably just that old brass that's tarnished and whatnot. First 2 on that football were hits, then I missed one, and then the other one was a hit and knocked it over. I think I got one left here. By the way, if you notice the flinch at the beginning, I gotta not flinch with this little thing, but the safety, I accidentally bumped it with my thumb, I'm assuming, and it was halfway up, so that's why I didn't go off on that first trigger pull if you caught that flinch there. There we go. I'm just trying not to dry fire it. He asked me not to dry fire it. So there's my hits on that football. If you couldn't see it clearly in the video, I was hitting up here. I had a center hold here, so they're coming up quite a bit higher than my point of aim, at least with the way I'm aiming and holding it and whatnot. So for me, it's further back there. It's several inches high, so I got to keep that in mind. And again, that could just be me with the way I'm holding it and aiming and whatnot, you know. With that in mind, I'm going to laser rangefinder this at 10 yards, and I'm going to do a center hold on this. Remember, these are our original shots here, so I want to see how much higher they ride up for me there. And then, of course, we got these that are already there as well, but I think at 10 yards, it's going to be somewhere around in here. All right, so I got this duct tape here, marking 10 yards to that target. There's a rangefinder I used. If you want to get yourself a good budget rangefinder, link in the description for that one. So we'll stand right up at that duct tape there at 10 yards and take some shots at it, see what I can manage at 10 yards. I gotta say, I'm actually pretty impressed with the accuracy out of this thing. You know, little tiny micro pistols like this, generally they're not that accurate and they're hard to shoot. And I mean, at 5 yards, I'm having no issue at all. And I was even further on that football and was hitting it almost every single time. And honestly, the time I missed was probably my fault. So this thing's actually decently accurate for how dinky it is. That's why I wanted to try at 10 yards here, because I believe I could keep them on paper at 10 yards, which is pretty good for a little micro pistol like that. All right, see what I can do at 10 yards here, and I loaded it up 6+1 again to see if we get that malfunction again, which again, it's probably just the old ammo, but I wanted to try it again. So there's 1 in the chamber and a full 6 in the magazine. See that round in there? So I do feel this riding my skin a little bit there too. I adjusted on the second shot because I felt it, the slide get me for sure there. So that might be part of the issue as well. Like I said in the beginning, you're gonna have to really watch how you hold this so you're not riding it. We got that nose is up there causing that jam right there, which again could have been me, because I feel that slide getting me. Oh, my target fell over. Did it again. All right, that was our last shot there. All right. So yeah, not too bad. It's still grouping them in the same spot there, back there at 10 yards. So again, just a center hold on there, and you can see that's that's not bad at all for 10 yards for something like that, especially considering the fact that you guys can clearly see me flinching on some of those shots, if not all of them. I'm still putting, and again, I got small hands there. That's probably about 4 inches from there, 3 inches from those. So a little 3-4 inch group there at 10 yards with that thing's not too bad at all, considering the circumstances and considering what it is. All right, we'll try 6+1 again. I'm gonna do like a little rapid fire on this target here right in front of me, if I can get this thing back in my pocket. Here we go. All right. I'm gonna have to slow that footage down. I don't think one hit would have knocked that over, so I believe I hit it multiple times in rapid succession. We'll find out when I slow it down. And on that last shot, I actually hit one of those bowling pins back there at about twice the distance. All right, with the last bit of my ammo here, let's try this football, because you could see earlier we were hitting it and it wouldn't knock it over. So if I manage to knock it over now, then with or without the slow motion, I'll definitely confirm multiple hits back to back. Obviously, as you saw there too, I ran reliably that time, rapid fire 6+1. So again, I think any issues we are having out here today is just because of this old nasty ammo, and you can see there, you know, kind of how corroded it is and whatnot. So yeah, this was some of his older stock, so that's why he said he didn't mind giving this stuff to me, because he didn't mind it being used up because it was some older stuff. So still greatly appreciate the ammunition, because it's impossible to find, at least for me here locally right now. But yeah, this is our last 7 rounds here, so we'll load up 6+1 again, try that again, and then we'll wrap her up. I think the last one finally knocked it over. I probably had this slowed down in the video as well, but you can see all those extra hits we just got there, so I was definitely hitting that over and over there. Well, that was 2 full mags, 6+1, and ran flawless there, and you've seen the condition of the ammunition I put through it. So I think that actually speaks volumes. So I'm pretty sure with nice, clean, fresh brass ammo that, and as long as you're, you know, the webbing of your hand there doesn't get in the way, that it would run 100% flawless, because those last 2 mags there, 6+1, even though it was that nasty old corroded ammo, did run flawless. So those few hiccups we had today, I 100% believe is just from the old ammo there. And I want to show you guys the trigger real quick. So I found one of those shells. The other thing I noticed, so like I was standing right here and we were looking for the last 5 minutes trying to find empty brass so I could show you guys the trigger real quick without dry firing it. And it's chucking them clear over there in the grass. So and that's good also. It's having really good strong extraction, so you don't have to worry about like stovepipes or anything like that. Right, that was easier said than done. Getting that brass in there. So you got the brass in there, and so I got one shot at this. Show you guys the trigger. It's not that bad, you know. I'm assuming, well, you got the little firing pin drew back there, so I'm not sure, double action, whatever. I'm sure I would have threw that information up in the beginning there with that little data entry about all the little details about this. But let me show you the trigger here real quick. It's not actually as bad as I expected. So of course it is a little heavy. Okay, so there's your take up, which is like nothing. Let's pull through. Again, sorry about the dirty fingernails. I had to rip that piece off the truck. It was all rusty and dirty. All right, let's pull through. Yeah, not bad at all. It's, I don't know, 7 pounds maybe, 8 at most, so it's not actually that heavy. Just to show you, I did have that empty brass in there. There it goes. Jeez, this shot it clear out. See, I barely pulled that back. Most guns, you pull it back like that and they'll want it real slow. They'll either jam up or they'll just barely fall out the side. It flicked that thing clear across the table. So anyways, there's your empty brass that I fired on there, so we weren't dry firing. But yeah, anyways, in regards to that trigger, generally little micro pocket pistols like this are double action. You know, they have a heavy trigger and, you know, creep and whatnot. And this was actually a pretty clean, crisp break and not actually that heavy for what it is. So I think that actually helped a lot with getting that decent accuracy out of it like I was able to. So that's got to be one of the best little shooting micro little 25 ACPs there. I'm actually really impressed with the performance of this little thing. That'll do her though, guys. I don't want to ramble on too long, so I'll wrap her up here. So that's the basic take on it, is that out of all, you know, the little pocket micro 380s, out of all the little micro pocket 25s out there, this is definitely the nicest and best shooting one I've ever fired. So it's got a really good trigger for that class. I think it would be really reliable in that class as well. Again, if we weren't shooting that old corroded ammo, I do believe it would have been 100% flawless out here today. So that's also saying a lot for something like this. And then as I was hitting on, the accuracy is actually pretty impressive for this little tiny micro pistol. Generally, guys, with something like this on a target like this, which by the way, it's a half scale silhouette, you know, they'd be all over that thing. No real group to speak of. And you know, we're getting 3-4 inch groups with, I mean, without me even trying. You know, I barely shot this pistol at all. I think that was what, second or third magazine there at 10 yards, and I'm already grouping 3 inches or so at 10 yards there. And you know, so I'm actually highly impressed with the accuracy for, you know, a pistol in this kind of class. This thing's actually really accurate. And again, I'm sure it could do even better than that. That wasn't even trying or anything. That was just basically pointing it at the red center there and pulling the trigger. Nothing special. So yeah, that's my take on it. Out of all the little micro 25s out there, you certainly can't go wrong with this one. This has got to be one of the best ones out there. Thanks again to Andrew for letting me borrow this little beauty. Thanks to you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you on the next one.